with the trees. Dingo's chilling back there. Today is a little more serious episode of Sips and Rips. I'm gonna be talking about homophobia. It's kind of a deep, heavy one, but I'm gonna start it out like I always do, with a bong rip and a sip out of the coffee cup, and we'll get into this. And homophobia, racism, those are deep topics, and I think they need addressed. They need addressed with honesty and with a critical lens towards those who promote homophobia and racism. And with that said, here we go. Good morning, YouTube. All right. So I'm going to start this with somewhat of a story. I believe the date was July 6, 1999. A little rusty on it. I remember it was the 4th of July weekend. Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I'm trying to think of what angle to start this at. At my barracks, we were outside in the common area. Basically dorm-style barracks. And the common area was just like a little piece of sidewalk and a picnic table and a grill. And I think there may have been like a volleyball net somewhere around that we shared with another set of dorms. So we were out drinking. I was drinking underage. I was probably, or no, 99. Yeah. I was underage probably, or maybe just turning 21. But so we were out drinking, and all of a sudden, like the entire division's worth of MPs, like if you don't know what that is, it's military police. All these cop cars, sirens, lights, ambulances, shit comes flying past our barracks where we were out getting drunk at, and hauls ass down the road to the 502nd. I was in the 327 infantry, and 502nd infantry was up the road. So we see them flying up there, and I mean, it's like literally all of the fucking MPs on the base, which is a lot. If you've ever been on a military base, Fort Campbell's bigger than Manhattan. Like, it's fucking huge. So it's literally the size of a city. But anyway, like, all the cops there fucking are going down the block to the barracks. And of course we could kind of go stumbling out towards the road and gooseneck down, try to see what's going on. We can't figure it out. But we see they're all piling in to the 50 Deuce. They're all going there. We don't know what the fuck's going on. Pretty soon, our leadership comes and tells us to get our asses in the barracks, stay in our rooms, don't worry about what's going on. There's been an incident down there, and we need to get our asses inside, lock down, and wait for further instructions. So that's what I did. We went in the barracks. We sat down, and we continued drinking in the barracks, and we didn't know what was going on. So with that said, that was my little view of what I saw that day. Now I'm going to tell you the story of PFC Barry Winchell. He was an infantryman in the 502nd Infantry. And I guess I'll just get, he is the victim in this story. He was murdered. And I'll get in. I'm not great at this, but I know a little bit. I know some of the facts of what happened. So I know what I saw, the little piece I told you. And what happened to PFC Winchell was it's complicated, but Barry Winchell and specialist Justin Fisher and a private Glover were all involved in this. And how it plays out is the specialist Fisher dude was I don't know how to say it. I guess he was, turns out this dude was kind of a confused person himself with his own sexuality. And he I guess he wasn't willing to accept that he had homosexual urges. And I don't know enough of the facts about the man to say if he ever did or whatever. I don't fucking know. What happened was there was Fisher, there was Winchell, and there was Glover later on. How it started out is Nashville's pretty close to Fort Campbell. So a lot of us would go down there and party on the weekends. And how this started is before 4th of July weekend, Winchell and Fisher went down to Nashville, ended up at a drag bar with some drag queens because Fisher had met a drag queen named Calpurnia Adams was her stage name. She is a woman, or she was a transgender woman at the time, is a woman now post-op surgery. I hope I'm saying that right. I hope I'm not fucking anything up here. So how it kind of began was Fisher started telling Winchell and some of the other ones, "Hey, dude, you got to check this drag show out I went to. There's this tall, beautiful woman. I can't believe she's a dude." He's this asshole saying this shit. I'm not saying this shit. And he tells him this stuff, and he invites Winchell, and I think there may have been another one. Glover's not in the picture yet. He invites him down to go down to Nashville, watch this drag show. And they go down, they watch it, and they have a good time. And I guess that Fisher dude was kind of a dick to everybody in their platoon anyway, or their squad, whatever the relationship was there. And so they go down there. He introduces Winchell and I think another person to this Calpurnia Adams lady. She is one of the dancers there. And so it turns out that Calpurnia, as soon as she looks at PFC Winchell, she's like taken with him. She's attracted to him. And that, basically, to make this a little bit shorter than what it would be, and I'm definitely shortening this down. It's a giant, horrible story. So Justin is the one that brought him down to see Calpurnia. Calpurnia sees Barry Winchell. Barry Winchell and Calpurnia are attracted to each other. Justin Fisher is jealous, but he plays it off that night and asks Calpurnia to introduce him to one of her other friends there that's in the drag show. And so that occurs. They hook up or whatever. Fisher hooks up with Calpurnia's friend, and Winchell and Calpurnia, I guess, probably begin the little beginnings of their relationship. And they eventually fall in love. They start dating, whatever. So Fisher was jealous of this, but kind of kept it under wraps and kind of played it off as that he wasn't that jealous. And, whatever, dude, I hooked up with her friend. That's all that matters. And whenever I'm calling her, that's not what these fuckers were calling her. they were using the F slur and throwing a lot of homophobic slurs and epithets around. Thus was the Army at that time. So they come back from Nashville. Turns out Calpurnia and Winchell will eventually be in. They're in a relationship. Fisher ain't too happy with it, but doesn't really express it in any other way than bullying by calling Winchell the fag slur and saying these. And he got the rest of the platoon in on this shit. So now Winchell ain't just taking shit from this one guy. He's got 30, 40, 50 dudes calling him the F slur, calling him, you know, I said it there once. That's a fucking enough. It kind of slipped out. I didn't mean it in any sort of harmful way to anyone. That's what these assholes were saying to this gentleman. So, yeah, that time was not a good time for the progress of LGBTQ rights and things like that. That it was very, very much not safe to be in that community and be out, you know, at that time. So they that was probably a week before the stuff I saw, right? Before I saw the cops go down the road. And it seems that Fisher couldn't handle his own homosexuality or his homosexual urges, and he was kind of in denial about that. And he was deciding, instead of dealing with that shit that's going on with him, he wanted to deflect and point all of his wrath at Winchell and all of any of his buddies in the company that he could get to also call this kid the F slur and be assholes to him. So in the Army, you are around these people all the time. You have to do shit with them. It's not like you can just go to your room and, you know, fuck them. Like, you have to interact with these people all the time. Some of them outranked him. Some of them were his superiors. So that's fucked up all on its own. So, and he had a sergeant that was trying to do good by him, but I don't think he knew what to do. And he was probably a young sergeant. This was all new to all these guys, and the toxicity in that job in the infantry, because it's all men. There are no women there. So it's just all of us fucking with each other, calling each other names, being dickheads, picking sides, picking teams, making fun of this guy for whatever the fuck, you know. And if it ain't for that, they'll pick something else. But it's fucking high school all over again. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. Until you reach a certain maturity, like, that's what the fuck you're dealing with. So, like I said, that dude was kind of jealous. And then this Private Glover comes into the company, and he's like a cherry private, like fresh out of basic. And Fisher, I guess, kind of immediately takes to this Glover kid. And, like, I guess they're like two peas in a pod, you know, like they're both kind of assholes. And I think, I can't remember if I don't think Glover went down to Nashville with them to the clubs to see that. I think Fisher just was telling him stories about it. Maybe Glover went with him. I'm not sure. So they come back to the barracks and they're partying. They're drinking, and Glover and Fisher are bullshitting, and I guess it comes out that they're calling Winchell gay or whatever in a derogatory way. And they're drunk, and Glover goes over to Winchell and attempted to hit him, like, or attempted to, like, slap a beer out of his hand or some bullshit, like tried to physically assault Winchell. And I guess after he had been calling him the F slur and all this shit for a while, and I guess Winchell just was sitting there smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer. And I guess Winchell jumped up, like, I don't know if he double legged him or whatever, took him down to the ground and smacked him in the face a couple times. And basically showed him, like, hey, dude, I can beat the shit out of you. Fuck off. And I guess what it was is Winchell told him, shut up, Cherry, you're drunk. Which Cherry is telling somebody that they're new. You know, shut up, new guy. Fuck off, you know. You're drunk, go to bed. And then that's when Glover attacked him, or attempted to attack him. Winchell defended himself, knocked dude down, popped him in the face a couple times. Then I guess, from what people say, Winchell kind of dusted him off and stood him up and got him a beer and a shot of Southern Comfort and said, hey, you know, we're cool, right? Like, let's bury this shit. This shit ends tonight. Fuck this. And was trying to just, you know, push it down the road, and, you know, because I think Winchell knew the possibility of them ganging up on him was there. But he did show him that he could fight, so that might have, you know, well, it turns out that did kind of keep him from doing anything while the gentleman was awake. And so they wait till later, and I guess they went up there because Fisher and Winchell, I believe, were roommates. So Winchell takes the company mascot dog, ties him to the stairwell railing, and he brings a cot out into the hallway, and he goes to sleep out there. And then Glover and Fisher are in the barracks room talking and whatever, and I guess Glover, the new guy, looks over and sees a baseball bat leaning there. And says something like, I ought to take that out there and beat Winchell's ass, or beat that F-word's ass. And then I guess Fisher told him to do it, or like said, go ahead or whatever. And he said he put his headphones in and rolled over and went to bed. And Glover took the baseball bat out into the hallway, and he started beating Winchell in his sleep, in his head, like a coward. Or not like a coward. The motherfucker was a coward and walked out there and beat a man to death in his sleep, because that man could take him physically if he would have tried it while he was awake. So he was a complete coward and went out there and beat PFC Winchell to death with a baseball bat in his sleep. While I guess the dog was barking and shit, and it was tied up to the railing, and nobody came to help him. They said nobody heard it. Which I don't know, you know, I wasn't there. Everybody was drunk. Maybe most of them was passed out. Some of them probably outside. I ain't blaming anybody but the motherfucker with the baseball bat and the asshole that fucking was there and didn't do nothing. So Glover and Fisher are pieces of shit. And I'm sorry for what happened to PFC Winchell. If this is why I started off this segment with this. Because then Fisher told Glover to run, and he washed off the baseball bat and hit it, I guess. And then eventually they called the cops, they tried calling 911, and I guess there was a malfunction with 911 on the base that night. And like I said, this is 1999, so who the fuck knows what was going on? They thought Y2K was going to fucking happen. So finally, a soldier ran to a payphone and got through to an ambulance. I think it was a Hopkinsville, Kentucky ambulance or something, and they came on post and got him and took him to Vanderbilt University Hospital, I believe, in Nashville, where he was already nearly brain dead, and he struggled and eventually slipped into a coma and died. So, and the ambulance didn't come until an hour after the incident had happened. An hour after I saw all those cops and everything go down there. Or an hour before I saw all those cops and everything go down there is when it happened. So it happened when we was out there drinking. So that's a story, a real story of something that happened in my vicinity that changed everything. It changed the Army. PFC Winchell don't know it, but that enacted. Did it enact Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Or did they do? They ended up doing away with that Don't Ask, Don't Tell. But I think they started it, or maybe it was already in effect. I can't remember. My brain's a little rusty when it comes to that shit. But Don't Ask, Don't Tell eventually ended up getting abolished because of this guy. But I can't remember if it happened then or later on down the road. I think it happened later on down the road. So, I mean, it's fucked up, man. Like, Winchell was 21 years old when that happened. My kid's 21 years old right now. You know, like that really, you know, it's fucked up to me, you know, just what his parents had to go through. Because, and this is where people, I don't know, I don't want to speak out of turn, so I'm not going to say stuff like that until I can get a guest. I need a guest on in order to talk about that. So I'm just going to leave that for a second. But, yeah. So to take this further into my Army experience, because, yeah, I guess Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a thing, but then they basically gave a grace period for people to tell. So people could come out and say that that they were gay and they could get an honorable discharge, I believe is how it was going. So, to my surprise, who was it? There was three, maybe four people. Three for sure. Three I was close to that came out as gay and got chaptered out of the Army. And one was my buddy, like a real close buddy. I had no fucking idea. And looking back on it, probably he didn't fucking feel safe telling my dumb ass because I was a little dipshit back then. But like, dude, me and that dude slept in the same bed together a lot. Like, looking back on it, I think he was trying to figure out if I was gay. And, you know, we were both fucking 18-year-old kids, you know. But I don't know. But I wish him the best. Yeah, Potter, if you're watching this, I love you, man. But, yeah. He came out and he left, which sucked for me. Like, not because he was gay. Like, it immediately made me not care about that shit. Like, I'd already was coming out of the racism. Like, I realized how stupid it was because I had black friends and I had, you know, people of different races that were my friends, my Mexican friends. Most of my friends in the Army were Mexican or black. And, you know, a few of the white guys. Potter was a white dude, but he came out and it shocked a lot of us. And I remember, because me and him were overseas together and in the same platoon over there, but he was in a different company over here, over stateside. But we were still close enough, like within walking distance to each other. I'd still hang out with him, and like I'd come and get him and take him to my house with my wife at the time and my kid and shit. And like we'd all hang out and get drunk and shit. But it was just more of a shock. Like I didn't give a fuck that they were gay. I was just shocked that they were gay, and I was sad that they were leaving because they were my friends. And I knew, well, fuck, he's gone, you know, like he was gone before I could even get an address or anything, you know, where he was going. Because, like, there was no Facebook or anything back then. There was no way for me to get a hold of him. And that sucked. And I hope he's doing well. And then later in life, once I've got out of the Army and all that bullshit, then it opened my eyes again, but it wasn't a surprise at that point. Like the racism shit, whenever that went away, all that stuff for some reason was rooted in there deeper than, like, once the racism came out, the homophobia came out right behind it real easily, because I think that's what homophobia is. It's just recycled racism. They're using the same talking points. They're making an other. They're saying that those people are the other based on who they want to have sex with or what color their skin is. Coincidentally, two fucking things that you have no control over. Convenient. Whenever you want to start a cult to make the other have characteristics that are, you can't help. You're born that way. So, yeah. So the homophobia is gone from me, and it was there a little bit. I won't lie, like, I made fun of some gay kids in high school and shit. I was dumb and I didn't understand anything. Like, looking back on it, like, I was so fucking stupid. Like, I did not understand what gay was. To me, gay meant that they were just doing that. That was just what they were doing. Like, they were physically making a choice to do that. And it was weird and yucky to me, I guess. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking back then. Seems, though, the more life experience I got, the more rational I got, which is good. But I see a lot of people around here, they still do it. They still make the others. They still want to have the out group and be in the in group, and it's all fucked up. And like, I wish I could give people the experiences they need to change their minds about petty differences. Like I told my brother, like, are you scared to hate a gay person? Makes no sense to me if you're straight. Or, anything that's different than you for being different than you. I don't understand it. And I think what I told him was, I asked him when he chose to be straight. And then I asked him if he was scared that the gay dudes were going to, like, take up all the dicks and he wasn't going to get any. Well, no, he wasn't scared of that. And then I think that clicked in his head that was a dumb fucking thing to think. And it was just a joke, that got him. I don't know. But anyway, I just thought of that because of the fucking last video I shot. I was trying to think of it. And then I said the other thing, yeah, you got it. You get it if you watched it. But, yeah, I think I'll end that one here. I can't remember if I want to go much further. So, I ended here, as always, with a sip and a rip. And tell you guys to treat people with fucking dignity, man. Treat them with fucking respect. You don't know what they've been through. If you want to make fun of people for something you foresee as different or weird, I would ask you to ask yourself, are they harming anyone? Are the two gay guys that are together harming anyone? Now, chances, I mean, just average gay couple. I'm not saying that there ain't some random ass serial killer out there that, you know, is married to another man and he's doing terrible things. That could be a thing. I am saying that two men dating each other and loving each other and getting married and adopting a child or whatever the fuck is none of your business. And unless they're doing harm to someone else, it's none of your fucking business. And like, I just, yeah, it boggles the fucking mind at why people worry about what other people do with their genitals, as long as it's with enthusiastic consent and is not against the law. It should, you know, I don't fucking get it. So yeah, I'm just rambling now. I'll end it. Peace out.